started building this little snowball on top of a very long hill. So we started at a very early age in rolling the snowball down. And of course, the snowball, the nature of compound interest is it behaves like a snowball of sticky snow. And
dude, what the hell are these people even talking about?
For years, I wondered what does all those terms the stock market people use actually means. Well, lucky for you, you don't have to struggle like I did, because today we're going to talk about exactly those terms, or at least one of those terms. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Pushpindaman, and today you're going to learn about the snowball effect. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. Albert Einstein once said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it." Well, Mr. Einstein was a genius, so we can't ignore that statement. But why am I talking about compound interest when this video is all about snowball effect? Well, you see, compound interest is in fact the snowball effect. Of course, in investing terms, it is called the snowball effect for a good reason. Let's look at a real world example. What happens when you push a snowball down a hill? As it is moving towards the bottom of the hill, it starts picking up more snow due to its mass and characteristics. With each rotation it takes, it collects more snow than the previous rotation because it has increased in mass. Eventually, the tiny snowball can become a giant, destructive monster by the time it reaches the bottom. But that depends on the size of the initial ball that you pushed and the length of the hill from the point you pushed the ball to the lowest point where the ball is supposed to stop. And of course, the snow itself. Now that is snowball effect in snowball terms. Now let's get to the tasty part, the financial terms. Compound interest was first mentioned by a guy named Francesco Balducci Pagalotti. I don't know if I spelled that right. Who was a Florentine merchant according to the sources. He mentioned it in a Pratica della Martatura. Funny name. It's a book, okay? I am very bad with these names, so don't laugh. The book was written in 1340 somewhere, where he provided a table of compound interest. I know, you're not here for the history, but hey, now you know what most people didn't know, right? So compounding is the process where interest is paid on the principal as well as the interest that was previously paid. Compounding thus can be constructed as interest on interest. In order to understand this, let's look at this chart which compares normal interest and compound interest. Here you see that in normal interest, where you have a principal amount of $1,000 and the rate of interest is 10%, you will have a total of $1,100 by the end of the term. And this will remain for any number of years as you repeat it. Alright? Now let's say if you had the same amount of $1,000 and the same interest rate of 10%, but this time when you get to $1,100 at the end of the term, instead of taking out the interest and investing back only the principal amount, what you did is you have invested the total amount including the principal, the $1,000 and the interest of $100. So you invested all $1,100 of your money back into whatever you have invested in. Now by the end of the next term, instead of $1,100, you will have $1,210. So if you did the normal interest thing and you took out the interest and invested back the $1,000, you will still have 1100, which will be a total interest of 100, and 100 is equal to 200. But as you didn't take out the interest and you invested the whole amount back into wherever you invested, you got the interest on the interest that you invested back. So instead of $200 of interest, you now have $210 of interest. See how now you have $110 more dollars than the normal thing? Now if you repeat it for another year, you will get $1,331, and in 10 years you will have $2,593.74, which is more than the double of your principal amount. That is the power of compounding. Now imagine if you also had contributed a little in addition to just the interest. Let's say you put in another $1,000 every year. Now by 10 years, your principal amount will be $10,000, because for 10 years you have invested $1,000 each year. But this time, including the interest, you will have $17,531.17. Keep in mind, this is just an example. The interest rates are very different in real world. It is for this example that we took 10%, where usually the market returns hang around 3 to 5%. In compounding, the more time you give it to grow, the better the returns will get. Returns for 20 years can be much bigger compared to the 10 years growth, so the longer is better. They say knowledge compounds when you share it, but you know, knowledge alone is nothing if you don't take any actions. With that said, we can now officially mark the snowball effect as explained in this category. You should watch this video right now if you want to learn about the other terms we covered, but that is totally up to you. If you enjoyed the video and learned something valuable today, please like, share and comment. Or if you don't like the video, you can always leave me your best 8 comments and I will still appreciate you for that. Stay safe, keep hustling, and I will see you guys in the next one.